being real is just so important.
Yeah, 100%.
I don't see myself as a good person, but I don't see myself as an evil person. Like, I'm no Martin Luther King, but I'm no Adolf Hitler.
100%.
You know, because I'm just doing as the best that I can. And hopefully before I die, that'll be enough for people to realize, that person was a somebody. So we should hopefully carry on what he's built.
What do you want to be remembered for? When eventually you do meet your creator, would you want to, what is it that you want people to look at and be like, that was Azamir, or that was Renaside, or that was
good question.
What is it you want to be identified as?
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Renaside podcast. Today we're talking about university and growth with Andrew Rowland, who is an inspiring filmmaker, artist, and of course a general bad motherfucker.
Of course. So what else? It's in my DNA.
Man? Go on, man. Of course, real recognizes real.
Yeah.
And best way to start this off.
Go on.
How you been?
I'm alright, man. I'm well. Yeah. I'm here. How are you?
I'm good, man. I'm just glad that we're finally doing this episode.
100%. Me too.
COVID has not been good to us.
No, it hasn't at all.
And just to let you know, socially distance.
Yep.
This is in a safe space. Yeah. I know we're not wearing our masks, but please don't judge us.
I don't want Boris coming for me, okay?
Bojo just gonna fly kick us through the door, bro. But yeah, man. We've known each other for
like 3 years now, almost. 2
years. Since 2018 September, October. Yeah. I don't think we probably spoke until maybe December.
No, not for a while.
Yeah, because I was very closed off and I was going for my own shit.
Same.
But regardless of that, I mean, I guess the best way to start this off is, how's your university life been? Because you're in your third year, right?
Yeah. University's been an interesting experience. I came to uni expecting to be surrounded by people that really want to be in the industry as well. It didn't really happen as much as I thought it would, but I expected that to grow and be able to figure out who really wanted to be there. But it's been alright. It's been fun. I've learned a lot but just not being exactly what I wanted it to be, really. Do you know what I mean?
So what would you tell, because obviously it wasn't what you expected, what would you say is the most life-changing experience within your university life?
Life-changing experience?
It could be people, it could be events, anything like that.
That's a good question. I feel like most life-changing experience is kind of knowing how to ground myself in myself and learning what my style is and where I want to take things, and figuring out how to trust people and find people that are genuinely engaged in what they want to do, as opposed to just here for the ride and for the experience. So I've learned a lot about reading people and being able to work with people properly, and I learned a lot about myself really as well.
The psychological side of things.
Exactly.
Which I think is pretty underrated, because when people think of university, especially as a film course, we think, just watch these films, make films, and that's it.
Yeah.
But there's more to it. You have to live life and you have to understand people.
Yeah, university helps you develop a lot. It gives you a lot of people skills. And especially coming to a new environment where things were very different. Like, I used to live in London, and the complete culture is very different. And I came to university and you find a huge array of people. Some are great people.
Some are questionable.
Questionable people. But it's been an experience, and everyone has given me sort of, in a way, when I meet people, I like to take them and build ideas off them. So meeting people has given me a lot of
bounce
ideas.
Off each other. 100%.
Exactly. What about you? What's been your favourite thing about uni? You find anything interesting?
Too many things.
You
already know some things that have happened. But I can't boil it down to one.
Yeah.
But I'll say a little bit. So many things have happened. For instance, going after dating.
Yeah. So
obviously falling in love and all that kind of stuff.
Did you date before this at all?
No.
Did you not?
No, that's a good. No. Yeah.
So what about?
But I dated back in 1st November. My first date was in 1st November. That was during uni, but I didn't meet her through uni.
Okay. Where did you go? Rio's.
Don't do me like that.
Rio's is the one.
She's from, well, I'm not going to say where she's from, but she doesn't go to, she goes another city, university.
Yeah.
But she just hit me up through Instagram. And
swear?
Yeah. Well, she spammed my photos.
Energy.
Spammed Then I said, okay, you like my photos. What's going on? It was at 5 a.m. Okay.
Yeah.
She was just bored. I think she was just bored. So she was spammed at me at 5 a.m. And we just talked. And all of a sudden,
you clicked.
Let's go on a date. Yeah.
So what was it about coming to uni that made you want to start dating? Was it coming to uni, or did you change as a person before coming to uni?
I definitely changed as uni went along.
Okay.
The thing is, when I first entered university, I didn't think about dating. I didn't think about partying. I didn't think about girls and nothing like that. Obviously, I didn't drink until March 2019, April 2019. Obviously, that changed a lot. That helped me. Obviously, when you're drunk, you're more honest. You start to read people. And it gets, you're in a different environment.
Of course.
Nights are unpredictable. You already know that. We've been on nights out before.
Unpredictable.
But
I fell asleep on a bench.
You fell asleep on a bench?
I think, and then I woke up in my bed. So I don't know how I got from the bench to my bed, but...
Northampton, innit?
In Northampton. Nice people. If you ever get lost, make sure you get lost in Northampton.
And you just stepped on the bench and...
I literally sat down on the bench and I conked out and I woke up. I remember walking in. I remember walking into my room and dumping stuff on my bed, but I don't remember going to sleep.
Yeah.
And then I woke up in my bed. All my stuff was like laid out perfectly on the side, and I was like, "What on earth went on?"
You got a guardian angel.
100%. 100%.
Yeah. But what inspired me to go to university, it's mainly loads of different things. But I feel like my long-term plan is to come here in this university specifically.
Yeah.
Because if I went to Coventry, Birmingham, London, all that, anywhere outside Northampton, right? I would have lost a lot of money.
Yeah.
And I said to myself, okay, long-term plan, use the money that you get from this, so maintenance loan.
Yeah.
Put that into a business.
Yeah.
You don't have to spend money on rent, a car, or anything like that. So all that money you built on a business, and you can go all in. Because when you're 18, 19, 20 years old, no one's going to shame you for it.
Exactly.
Because you're young and people think, oh, you're just naive. But if you're 30, you have kids, mortgage,
there's a lot
house,
more to focus on.
all that kind of stuff. So long-term plan, I just want to achieve my goals quicker. Because a load of people will shame me for staying in your home. I get shamed. Oh, you go to University of Northampton. What's wrong with you? That kind of stuff. And then I said to them, I just said to them, like, look, 3 years time, you're going to be back here in debt, and you made no progress.
Yeah, 100%. Uni, it's all right. Uni. You know what? I went to Derby for an interview, and imagine Derby from my house is like 3 or 4 hours. So I trekked all the way up to Derby with my portfolio. I get there and the guy's like, right, guys, I hate to break it to you. I'd love to look at your portfolios, but my laptop is all the way downstairs.
Wait, serious?
And I was like, am I dumb? Am I missing something? How have I travelled all this far for you to tell me your laptop is downstairs? I was up
downstairs?
Like 5 o'clock in the morning. He was like, yeah, it's down a set of stairs and I can't be bothered to go get it. So here's me just skipping through stuff on my phone.
The staff said that?
The staff said that. The person
University of Derby.
Oh, gave me an unconditional and all sorts. So I was like, yeah, that's
that?
not the one for me. I was like, no, thank you.
Fuck.
I'll stick with Northampton.
So what about you though? Like, why did you go university? Like, what?
You know what? I knew.
And why here specifically as well?
I knew for the creative industry, you don't need university. So my main aim was to go to network. I knew at home there was not many people that I really want to do that. But if I go to university, again, I'll be surrounded by people that really want to be in the industry. They're paying $9,000 a year.
You thought?
I thought. They're paying $9,000 a year. They're going to want to be there. And luckily there was a few, like I've met you, and I've met Joe, and I've met a few people that do want to be really involved and have good ideas. But I don't know. Overall, it's not. The general consensus hasn't been very there. So it's been a little bit deflating. But I chose Northampton because I don't know. Derby was recommended to me and it wasn't that great. But when I came to the open evening at Avenue campus, it seemed really good. Like they had all the resources. The lecturers, I had an interview with Tim, and Tim.
Shout out Tim.
Tim's quality. Tim, he really he reviewed my work. He looked at my work and he pointed out where it was going wrong and where it could be improved. And we had a discussion about how it could be made better. And the idea that the lecturers were genuinely interested really gave me the interest in going. It wasn't like I've gone all that far and they just been like, oh, it's downstairs, or they haven't given me anything. They were genuinely interested in the work I wanted to do, and that's why I came here.
Would you, if you can go back in time and change your decision, would you do it?
I'd probably go to Cov because Coventry, the laptop they gave us here wasn't a laptop that they advertised for one. And Coventry has
got MacBooks, right?
They got MacBooks for Pros, MacBook Pros for free, and they've got all the resources and everything as well. So, and it's closer to home for me. So if I really wanted to just stay at home, then I could stay at home and I'd save all of that money.
That makes sense.
But I don't regret my decision. I can't lie. I don't regret it. I'm glad I came to Northampton because it's been an experience.
Would you say, how different would your life be if you went to Coventry instead of University of Northampton? For the better, for the worse. I mean, for the better facility-wise, because MacBooks and whatnot.
Yeah.
But on the psychological side, in terms of people, I know some people that we know go to Coventry. Do you think life will be better or different?
I was very lucky with the people I came to meet at university here. I can't lie. Like the people I have around me at uni, the people I live with, make the experience a lot easier. They make sure I get to like uni on time. They make sure I eat. They make sure I'm awake and I'm sleeping on time. They really do look after me. So
Dang, really?
I'd like
shout out to those people.
Exactly. I went through it a little bit over lockdown, and I made it aware to the people that are closest to me, and as soon as I told them, they literally, I was like, nothing bad's gonna happen. I'm not in the mind state to do anything serious or drastic.
Yeah.
But I just want you to know that I'm not doing great. Just so that you can make sure that I'm eating and drinking water and this. So like I'm on top of stuff and I'm not falling behind or making myself ill. And they, like since then, one of them called Nathan, shout out Nathan, he shouts at me if I'm not eating. Or if I'm sleeping or I'm napping in the day, he'll shout at me, be like, you need to wake up and go get some food. I'm like, cool.
Dang, that's a real one.
Yeah.
And that's rare to find. No one does that for me.
It's tricky. It's tricky, but I'm so lucky. I'm genuinely so lucky with the friends I have around me. I can't show enough love and appreciation. I'm not great at expressing how I feel about people, but I love them to pieces. They really do help me out a lot. Do you know what I mean?
Glad you said it on the air as well, so you got that documented.
Thank you. Shout that out. Shout all that.
But you obviously mentioned, sometimes you have a lay-in,
Yep.
and you have troubles with your mental health.
Yep.
How do you see your mental health develop from first academic year, Andrew, so 2018, to present academic year, Andrew, 2020? For the better, for the worse?
I wouldn't say it got better or worse.
Yeah.
I'd say I became aware of issues coming to light in second year.
Yeah.
And in second year, we had a couple more housemates, and I remember speaking to one of them, and I was like, I think I've got X, Y, and Z.
Yeah.
I just feel like I became aware of it in second year. I didn't do anything about it until lockdown hit, and everything just nosedived. Like, I couldn't sit still in my room. I couldn't sit still in the house. I wasn't eating, sleeping, drinking. I'd be fidgeting, and my mind would just be like going at 100 miles an hour or not doing anything at all. So I became very aware of it after lockdown, really. Do you know what I mean?
So, obviously, all this awful stuff has happened. How would you deal with it? Obviously, I know you have your support network.
Yeah.
But without them, do you think you can still push forward on your own, or do you think you definitely need someone by your side?
Do you know what? A big thing that's really helped me is my mum. And anytime I've had like really negative or dark thoughts, like I wouldn't get to the point where I'd be like, oh, I want to end it all.
Yeah.
But there'd come points where I'd be like, if I got ill, then I wouldn't necessarily want to fight it because I could just gradually decline and then I wouldn't have to worry about things as much anymore. So that's one mindset I got into over lockdown. And I remember there was one time I was laying on the sofa in my front room thinking that, and my mum came in and she was like, she just sort of like walked in and she was like, I'm so glad I have you and your brothers, because we lost my dad in 2015. So she was like, that's all right, it's fine, it happens. She was like, I'm so glad I have you, because if I didn't have you, I don't know what I'd be doing. I'd be worrying about X, Y, and Z so much. But I've really got you two to come home to and talk to and take my mind off things, and I'm so glad you're still here. So whenever I've had like a negative thought, then it's like my mum's got like this sixth sense, so she comes in and just takes it away.
That's a fucking blessing.
It is a massive
You need to take care of her.
She is honestly a queen. This woman has so many stories. It's insane.
She can go on the podcast if she wants.
No, it's insane. She could give you stories on stories on stories. She could give you so many stories.
Crazy.
She has nut stories. She like nearly lost all her money when she was trying to come over from Kenya, and she had to like find it all back and stuff. It was insane. What about you? Do you have any coping mechanisms? yourself.
This
is your compliment.
My art, man.
Speaking's good.
Speaking's good. It helps. I mean, people think, oh, you talk about your problems. It doesn't do much, but you're letting it out.
It vents it. And when you can find someone that will listen and give you something back, it helps a lot. 100%. I feel like it helps a lot.
I agree.
I hate when I get everything out to someone and they don't necessarily have anything to say.
Yeah.
Because it makes me feel a little bit alone, if that makes sense.
100%.
So having someone say something back that has been through similar experiences is just like...
It empowers you both.
Yeah. Yeah. It makes you feel very... I don't know what the word is. It makes you feel like less alone in your struggles.
It makes you just realise how we're all one and the same.
Yes.
And
100%.
To me, one of the most beautiful things in life is touching another human soul.
Mm-hmm.
And I know, some people may not believe in the soul or nothing like that, but in terms of mental health, it's universal.
Yeah.
We all struggle through it. Maybe
100%.
different struggles,
100%.
maybe not the exact struggles,
Yeah.
but that's why we need each other.
Yeah.
That's why I want to talk about it. And having conversations like this is so important. And you ask like how I deal with it. The podcast is a way to show, look, this needs to be talked about.
Yeah.
Obviously, I grew up, obviously not being loved.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, I got a little fake love as well. And I had to toughen myself up.
Of course.
I'm an internet baby, basically. Yeah. The people raised me in a way.
Yeah, of course.
And I'm grateful for it, because if I was raised by my people, I probably just would have been a religious, racist piece of shit.
Exactly. Exactly.
I'm here now, and obviously I'm doing what I love. And even though I don't really have... myself personally, I don't really have a proper circle.
Network.
Yeah, but I do have like a business network. I have a filmmaking network.
Azim, I'm here all times of the day, every hour of the day. I will, and honestly, you have my phone number, my Snapchat, my Instagram. Anytime you ever need anything, I'm there.
Man,
I will give you the last pound in my pocket. Just pick up the phone.
But I think that does bring an interesting question.
Go on.
Why? Yeah. Would you say that to almost every one of our peers?
Yeah, I'd say that to people I hate. I felt awful. I have felt awful at certain points in my life, and I'd never ever want people to feel that way. Like it's like, you know what I mean? When you get really low, it's a disgusting feeling. And it's not a feeling you can
feel
shake.
like that's it.
Exactly. You're just like, what's the point in existence if this is how I'm going to constantly feel? Even though it's a temporary feeling.
100%. You got to nail it.
Do you know what I mean? Yeah. So I never ever want someone to feel that way. So if I can help you, this is one of my pitfalls. I need to set boundaries. But if I can help you, I will. I had one of my friends who had a very bad stint a little while ago, and I'd literally just driven back to Northampton, and he messaged me and he was like, I'm feeling shit, and he started venturing towards a very dark path, and I was like, do you need me to drive home? Because it hurts when I see the people I love in shitty positions. And you know, sometimes you can look in someone's eyes and you can see that they're hurting, and then behind all the hurt you can see the person that they are, and they just will not be that person. It kills me. It kills me. It kills me.
And there's so many of them out there.
Yeah.
That's why this podcast is needed. This conversation is important, because in terms of how I grew up, I know I talk about how I grew up all the time. Yeah. But so many people suppress their emotions, man.
100%. It's especially amongst men. It's really toxic, and like I can talk from like the London aspect sort of thing. I grew up in like Southeast London, this little area called Grove Park, and everywhere around there is a little bit like rough and tumble. And there's this very toxic masculinity thing about being the biggest and the baddest, and you don't need to do that, to be honest. I sit there sometimes. I used to look. My dad was a very emotional guy. He's the type of person that would watch people get married on TV and be like in tears. And I used to look at him and be like, "What you doing, you dickhead? Stop, man up!" But now I sit there and I look back on it and I envy it so much, because looking at someone so happy on the screen and that emotion coming out to you, and being able to like completely feel the emotion yourself, be happy instead of and not worry about what anyone thinks, is a blessing. Like not having to walk down the street and think, oh, what are they thinking about this, that, and the other. Blessing.
It's a skill that takes a very, very, very long time to develop.
Yes.
And unfortunately, if you grew up in a broken household, or if you grew up around broken people,
it's harder.
It's kind of hard to break through that
It's
mold.
harder.
And when you mention masculinity, that's a good topic as well, masculinity. What does it mean to be a man?
This is the thing I've been struggling for years, because I've always felt subhuman. I don't want to keep making it about me, but I've always felt a little bit subhuman, just because I'm different. You can see it here. This is like a tricky thing for me. Like I was thinking about messaging you and being like, can we swap positions just so that they can see my decent side instead of my bad side? So there's that, and then I'm like short, and I've had all my pitfalls with all my surgery, and I'm like, I'm just not human. I can never be a man because I've got all of these things that are wrong with me. So I've always been looking for the idea of being a man. I've been like, I could join the army and then I'm a man. But realistically, I don't think there's any definition to what a man is.
I think that's the beauty of it, because there's no fixed position.
There isn't.
And you can adapt it to how your lifestyle as well.
A man is just what you make of it. The generic topic of a man is like the head of the table, the leader of the family. But you can look in many families, and behind the strong man is a very strong independent woman, or another very strong independent man. And it's just, there is no definition. Do you know what I mean? It's just you define it yourself and you become the person you want to be.
100%.
And if you want to sit there and say, I feel like it's almost a declaration.
Yeah.
Like you get to a certain point where you're so confident in the person you are. You're like, I really am a man. I am grown. I know what I'm doing. I'm so driven and determined, and I just know. It's just an instinct. Do you know what I mean? Makes sense?
Yeah. There are some core values, in my opinion, there's no fixed definition.
Yeah.
There's some values that go along with being a man.
Go on.
Being real.
Yeah.
A man, I mentioned this in the podcast with Ryan, which will probably come after this podcast. Yeah. We're recording multiple Saturday night.
It's been a busy day.
It's been a fucking busy day. Come on, man. You've got to make sure that, I uplift my people, because,
exactly.
they picked me up when I was a nothing.
Yeah.
Obviously, being suicidal and, 13, 14, like,
horrible.
That's it. It's like, people say to me, yeah, but you're a fucking kid. How could you feel that way? It's like, yeah, but...
I get surprised when people say they haven't felt like that, personally.
Yeah, same.
I feel like, especially with social media and high-speed internet, I feel like there's been at least one point in every teenager's mind where they thought, I wonder what it'd be like without me.
Yeah.
So when people say, I can't believe you felt that way, it really, I'm surprised people that just haven't. I was talking to one of my pals last night, and we were talking about mental health, and we were saying it should be something that's implied in schools.
100%.
Like there should be, like even if it's once a month, there should be classes or days where they discuss mental health and talk about coping mechanisms and things that they can do.
I think that's a must.
It's a must, especially with the way things are going. It needs to happen. It needs to happen. There needs to be a talk about it, a discussion, especially just for the state, because we're not going to understand how kids feel now.
Yeah.
Like if we think about how our parents never understood how we feel, we're not going to understand how they feel. We need to. It needs to progress and move forward and start being implemented and talked about.
And it hurts a lot because it's not obviously compulsory, and hopefully I think personally we're going in that direction of making it compulsory because of course rise of social media, mental health trends. And obviously people are more, in my opinion, I think people are more open these days. Like our generation is more open because you get more exposed to people's behavior. So like on social media, you get to see how people really are in terms of mental health. People open up. People's only friend is a smartphone. They ain't got no one else. And that's why they vent their frustration out on Twitter or Instagram or whatnot.
Yeah.
But back to the topic on masculinity, being real is just so important.
Yeah, 100%.
I don't see myself as a good person, but I don't see myself as an evil person. Like, I'm no Martin Luther King, but I'm no Adolf Hitler.
100%.
Because I'm just doing the best that I can. And hopefully before I die, that'll be enough for people to realize, that person was a somebody. So we should hopefully carry on what he's built.
What do you want to be remembered for? When eventually you do meet your creator, what is it that you want people to look at and be like, that was Azamir, or that was Renaside, or that was that was
good question.
What is it you want to be identified as?
As a Mia is for, in terms of being remembered, for helping his wife and kids. You know, just making sure that my broken family, I'm going to make sure that the same mistake does not get passed on to my child, to my wife.
Yes.
Because to my wife and child, I just want to let them know. Obviously, I don't have a wife and child, clearly.
Not yet.
Not yet. Hopefully, one day, hopefully. But I just want them to know that, look, everything I've built since I was 13 years old, all the struggles I've been through, this is yours.
This is yours.
Like, take it. Like, you don't have to be a filmmaker. You don't have to support my career at all. But please, just build something on top of it, and then pass it to your kid, and then grandkid, and whatnot. Just keep pass it on. Just please, you know, like, end this awful cycle of feeling sorry for ourselves and toxicity and self-oppression, because my people went through enough of that, and I'm just hoping one day it just finishes for good, because no one's saying anything, and it bothers me so much. So my mum is hurting, my dad is hurting, but I can't do nothing because it's so deep down to the trauma. And for Renaissance, I just want to make sure that I become, in terms of my art, I become like a polymath. So like the Da Vinci of filmmaking and music and all that kind of stuff. So I reach to fashion. I just do all these great things, and I just want to help people in general. Like both as and me and that's why we're yin and yang.
Yin and yang.
Like as and me and Renaissance. Like you decide which one you get to see. Like which one's yin and which one's yang.
Which one are you today?
That's how you decide. I don't really like to say it. That's how for your interpretation.
Of course.
So as a me and Renaissance, the main goal of both of them is change the world and help people and make sure that exactly, because I know this pain is forever, unfortunately, because without pain, you won't really truly appreciate the great times.
Exactly. I remember I saw something the other day about someone saying, like happiness is an emotion, and emotions are fleeting. Oh, just hit that.
That's fine. Sorry,
I did that emotions are fleeting, so they come and they go, and you've literally just got to. Have you heard about observing the thought?
Meditation?
Not kind of. So it's like when a thought pops into your head, instead of dwelling on it, like say if I ripped my shoe and I sat and I was like, I ripped my shoe. Now I can't walk home. How am I going to walk home? I can't get home. When am I going to get home? Can I get someone to bring the shoes? Instead of being like that, I could be like, oh, I've ripped my shoe.
Rational thinking.
It's ripped. It's done. There's not much I can do about it now. It's gone. So the thought's been in my head. I've processed it, and it's just left. So I've moved on from the thought. So instead of letting the thought take control of me, I've taken control of the thought, moved it on. And it's the same thing with emotions. So when you feel like happy, just completely immerse yourself in the happiness. Like observe the happiness. It's your happiness. That is yours for the minute. And then when it starts to go, you let it go. Because if you hold on to it, when something stressful comes your way, what you're going to do? You're going to do the same thing. You're going to hold on to it. So when something stressful comes, you let it process. You get through it. You let it pass.
100%.
And then that way you can continue to enjoy emotions the same way that you enjoy everyday things. Because nothing's
permanent. Everything's temporary. And you can either look at that in a pessimistic way or a very optimistic way. And that's down for you to decide.
Yeah.
And it's a good point that you mentioned about observing the thought, because you know how people say, people should say I feel depressed rather than I am depressed. Yes. People attach that label. Yes. And then once it attaches to them, they can't let it go. You know, it's attached to them. And what do? And a load of people do that, I noticed. And that is not to downplay anyone with depression or 100%. Nothing like that. But your thoughts aren't you. 100%. They're a part of you, but it's a universal thing. Yeah. Happiness is part of you. Yeah. Being sad is a part of you. But just don't make it your identity.
Yes, I don't want it to. You shouldn't let it label you or define who you are. Do you know what I mean? Like people, you have something, or you are currently feeling something. Yeah. But it's not.
It won't last forever.
It won't last forever. And it's the same thing with like being ill. It's like you wouldn't say I am broken leg. I have a broken leg, or I've broken my leg. Yeah. And that pain is a pain in the arse. Yeah. But it's temporary and it will pass.
It will definitely not last forever.
It will not last forever. And you like, even though it's something that will always be there, and it will always be like, it will always be something that affects you. It will not be permanent. Yeah. Like if you break your leg, for example, as we've used the example, that leg's always going to be a little bit more brittle or a little bit more susceptible to pain. But you move with it and you make progress, and your body adapts. Your brain literally adapts. It's the same thing with people that have amputations. Their body adapts to the situation and it goes. So just like, you just have to learn to trust yourself and trust your mind and trust your brain and just push forward. It's really about pushing.
100%.
And pushing forward, really.
And it brings up a good point as well about the broken leg. What you kind of, you're more grateful.
I try to be.
100%, because
I try to be.
if you get a broken leg and it recovers, you kind of like don't take it for granted.
Yeah.
Because some people don't have either leg.
Yeah.
At all. They're in a wheelchair or whatnot. And I feel like pain, like this is a gym analogy.
Yeah, go on.
So when you exercise,
it
fucking hurts.
Yep.
It's difficult.
Yep.
You're like, you're like you put like a constipated face, like having a massive shit out of Indian takeaway. But it's a load of struggle and pain.
It is a lot.
But the payoff
is intense.
It's fucking incredible. It's
Start
like
walking around.
Dwayne The Rock Johnson. But that's why it's like pain is needed.
Yeah, 100%.
In order to grow and in order to be fulfilled. And that's not to say all pain is justified, like unfortunate death of like someone close to you.
Exactly.
But it's how you handle it. Like, it's not your fault that happened, but it's your responsibility and how you.
And you can't always do it alone.
You can't always do it alone.
You can't always do it alone. This is.
I tried.
You can't.
Yeah.
You can't. You can't always do it alone. There are going to be things you need help with, and especially in situations where things are a little bit different. Like, you've had very different circumstances to like the everyday person.
Yeah.
There are going to be situations where you need help. From like, I've reached out to professionals myself, and they tell me things that I already know, but because it's coming from another person, I take it and I process it a lot better. Instead of me telling myself how things should work or how things should happen, the same way that I tell myself things are shit and that I shouldn't be doing this or I shouldn't be doing that or I should be doing this, I should be doing that. It winds me up. Hearing it from someone else really helps me process the thought. So even if it's just venting to a parent, a sibling, venting to a complete stranger, it really helps to process it. It really does. I reach out if you need help. I can't.
We're human. We need people.
We need it.
People always say, don't give a fuck about what people think. But how can you not give a fuck when you need to give a fuck about other people?
Exactly.
Like, you need them. Like, filmmaking is a key example, right?
Exactly.
I didn't do this all by myself.
Exactly.
Shout out Joel K. cinematographer.
Joel.
And of course, I'm not doing this alone because Andrew Rowland is clearly here in the building, you know.
The one and the only.
Bad motherfucker.
You will never find another mixed ways guy with a ginger afro.
Ginger afro?
It's ginger.
Is it ginger?
It is ginger.
It's a pretty afro.
Thank you. I'll grip myself.
You can't do it on your own.
You can't. We're human.
Yeah. And we're social beings. We need people.
We are.
No matter how introverted or shy you are,
we need people.
You need people. You need at least that one person you can connect to.
And
some people.
Sorry. And there are going to be people that are way more experienced than you and that have way more developed than you. So 100%. There are going to be people you can seek knowledge from and grow from as well. So as you were saying.
That's right. so you need that person or people to connect to. So 100%. Whether that's why some people are obsessed with bands, musicians, filmmakers. They can relate to it and hold on to it.
Yeah.
And that's why I personally do what I do, because, I mean...
It's a creative outlet. It's a good way of just reaching out to people.
It's needed,
even if, like, especially for your, like, niche, I feel like you'd reach out, and if your work impacted one person, you might not be over the moon about it, because you want, obviously, a massive reach.
Oh, no, I'll be over the moon.
Yeah. You'd be so happy that it's reached that one person, and if that one person approached you in the street and was like, I love your work, it would, like... skyrocket your day,
mate. It will. Like, if someone said to me, "Oh, you changed my life," or "You saved my life," I would break down in
100%,
tears.
100%.
Like, I wouldn't know what to say if someone said that to me. Imagine someone come up to you and say, "Your work saved my life."
Yeah.
What the fuck do I say to that?
Yeah.
It's like, I was suicidal.
Yeah.
Like, I wanted to die.
Yeah.
And the fact that I didn't, and I pushed through, and I did this, and I saved your life. What the fuck do I say? I will cry.
This is why I feel like that. Like, cinema needs to be changed.
Yeah, we need to talk about this as well.
We've spoken about this so many times. The way it's going at the minute is you watch a film, you get to the doors of the cinema and it's gone, it's done. Whereas you can watch, there's music videos you can watch, and like you said earlier, You can watch a music video and you feel something, and then you can feel it in the lyrics, you can see it in the visuals, and it's something you can be completely immersed in. And this is something cinema is lacking.
I agree, 100%.
It's not like...
It's not personal.
No.
Obviously, not saying all films are not personal, but most films, they're just like, it's like cookie cutter approach.
Yeah.
It's like a template they're all following.
Yeah.
And it's like, I kind of get it in terms of finances, but that shit doesn't hit.
Exactly.
Like,
even there's like very small things you could do to change the way cinema is done, and it will have a massive impact. Like a lot of people, like a big taboo is breaking the fourth wall, and I don't know why that's a taboo. I don't know why, especially when there's big social things happening. Why is there no interaction between what's on screen and the audience? Like there was a big thing about 4D cinema a little while ago.
oh, yeah.
That was so much more immersive than what we see now. And even going down that lane or that approach could take things to a whole new level, a whole new approach, and different ideas. And it's just about working with things. It really annoys. It does bug me a lot.
But that's why we got to be the change for the cinema, you know, because obviously we can say all this, but what are we doing about it?
Yeah.
You know, but obviously, thankfully, you know, I don't think cinemas will play my shit. Who knows? I mean, maybe they're different.
They don't have to.
Yeah.
You could play.
You got the internet.
You got the internet. You could take so many different avenues. There's nothing stopping you from finding a tower block with a massive wall and putting your film up on the wall, projecting it up, and then just blaring the speakers at your car.
Yeah, the speakers. I don't even have a car.
There's nothing stopping you. You can borrow money if you want, mate. It's an estate. There's a tree in the back of it.
But man, it's fucking crazy. Like, I'm glad we see eye to eye on the cinema a bit, because as a media student, people will be like, the fuck's the matter with you? You're studying media. It's like, yeah, but like, I'm allowed to critique it, you know? Like, but hopefully a more personal approach to filmmaking is coming. Also autobiographical stuff.
Yeah.
Hopefully they'll set a wave, but I don't know how much of a strong wave it can be. But if the industry says fuck Renaissance, then I'll say fuck them too.
What?
I already have people in my corner anyway. So
what?
Exactly.
What? Even if you get, like, any PR is good PR. So even people are shouting you down, it's because they're used to the norm. Do you know what I mean? It's like, even look at the way you dress. You alright? The way you dress is quality. Is sick. How many people do you see dressing that way?
So I just gotta get the trousers.
Exactly. Them dickies are nuts. They are insane. And look at the J's as well.
Shout out Michael Jordan.
Shout out Michael Jordan. So this is the thing. People get so caught up in the same thing. They get worried to step out. And then when someone does step out, they're either jealous or they just want to shout it down because they don't like anything that's out of the norm, out of the ordinary. So this is why when I see people that are dressed a little bit different, I'm like, you look sick. You look sick. Because it's just like, it's inspiring to see. It's different. I don't want to see the same thing every day. I get bored of it.
100%.
Do you know what I mean?
People are just, obviously, my people look at me weirdly when I just say this. If I leave the house,
social norm.
That's what I mean. It's like, look, I mean, what's wrong with this?
Exactly.
But
imagine how much attention you draw.
Yeah.
And this is the thing with having different work and stuff that steps out of the norm, is you're going to draw so much attention that your work is bound to blow. It's not like if, like, we could sit here, we could go tomorrow. I bet you overnight we could write a love story, right? And then it would work. It'd be fine. It'd fit in cinema, but it'd be boring. But if we could write something completely abstract, and it might take a few more months, but that would draw a lot more attention or make a lot more noise than a typical love story that everyone's seen 100 times.
Because people will notice, like, you don't even have to be a filmmaker to notice this. People can see the effort. People can see, oh shit, that's
different stylistic approach.
That's different. And also, that's a real story as well. So we did know it's personal.
Yeah.
And people relate to it more because people are like, okay, wait, it's real. Different stylistically.
Yep.
Why would I watch this love story when I could watch this?
Yep.
And then people would draw more to that.
Way more interesting.
100%.
And especially, sometimes working with the times is really good as well. Like recently we've had, like, obviously Black Lives Matter protests and stuff. Imagine, look how much all of these films and documentaries took off, like When They See Us. Where if they wrote When They See Us, I don't know, they could have written When They See Us in 2010 after the Mark Duggan riots, and it would have had a very similar effect to when it had now. But if they wrote it in, like, 2003, when not much was going on, would they have done it? 2003 would have been just after the apartheid with in South Africa, which was 97, I think. So it would have been a few years after that. And they would have been like, oh wow, this is cool. This is so far in the past. We don't need to worry about this anymore. We're way past this. But if we do it at the right time of year, even though it's I don't want to say generic story, and even though it's something that people might be used to, it still makes a lot of noise because it's produced in the right time.
Yeah.
So sometimes it's just about timing as well. How would you define your stuff? Because your stuff is quite abstract and avant-garde.
Renaissance, yeah.
How would you...
You know, as in me is very boring. As we hello, welcome to... Renaissance like, fuck you.
I like to make commercial stuff.
He's like, yo, look, I need to get my money. As in me, Renaissance, yin, yang, you guys decide which one. Okay?
Yeah, for real.
How would I define my stuff?
Yeah.
120%, if I had to describe it in one word, autobiographical. It's about my experiences, my life, and it's very surreal in terms of the aesthetics, very symbolic. So in terms of the visuals,
it is very well done. Beautifully shot. Quality.
Yo, shout out to Joel.
Shout out to Joel.
Some of these shot ideas are just me, but in terms of him executing it, he also
like they are shots. They are quality.
Yeah, he's putting a lot of hours into his craft. So much respect to him and much love to him. But surreal, autobiographical, and avant-garde, and I'll definitely say I'm a person that keeps reinventing myself.
Yeah.
Last year, you wouldn't see me dressed like this.
Yeah. No.
Last year I was in like
Anthony
overcoats.
Stepniak, yeah.
Shout out to Stepniak. Yeah.
He's quality. I miss Anthony.
Oh, I ain't seen him in ages.
I saw him the other day.
He's a lecturer of ours, by the way.
Anthony's quality.
Yeah.
Anthony's 10 out of 10.
But fuck, man, it's just like I have to keep reinventing. Like when I look at artists in the past, well, ever.
Yeah.
Any artist, Michael Jackson, David Bowie, anything. One thing I noticed about filmmakers, you don't really know them for their individual personalities.
No.
And that kind of bothers me.
Yeah.
Because it's like...
To be honest, you can tell their stylistic approach.
Yeah.
Like Quentin Tarantino,
Wes
like
Anderson,
Blood and Feet.
Kubrick, and his symmetrical shots.
Yeah. You can see like the Kubrick stare, and you got what's his name, Christopher Nolan, and fucked up timeline.
Yeah.
So you can tell their stylistic approach, but it's
as a person, you don't really...
Yeah, you don't know him.
And it's surprising. It's like you're a filmmaker. Don't you want to be more? It's like
you hear rumors.
Hard.
You hear rumors about how they are and what they're like, but it's never.
They're very in the shadows. And it's like, it doesn't make sense.
Do they live in the shadow?
The shadow realm. Banished in the shadow realm. Oh,
they're in the gulag.
Gulag.
Fighting their way back.
It does. Yeah, it's just like I definitely want to. I mean, I kind of do set myself apart from different filmmakers. Yeah. But just like. I'm just here and they're there, and it's like I'm just saying to myself, okay, you're doing filmmaking.
Yeah.
Do more. Like this ain't. I mean, this is filmmaking, but it's not like traditional film. It's having a conversation. Yeah. And I say to myself, okay, do you want to like? I know people have different goals in life, different philosophies.
And you don't want to be remembered.
It's like, don't you want to be remembered for more?
Yeah.
And all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And then some people just want to settle, and it's like, yeah, but. You got like another 40 years left in your life. Don't you want to like?
This is what I want to be remembered for. I want people to like be able to look at my work, whatever it is, in whatever I do. Be like, oh, that was Andrew Rowland, or that was Andrew Rowland, or this was one of Andrew Rowland's properties.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? I want them to be able to definitively know who I am, regardless of whether it's from my stylistic approach or the way I go about things or the way I compose myself. I want them to know my produce is me and completely me. So throughout time, I want to be one of the people they talk about in uni lectures. Do you know what I mean?
Same. You used to study it.
For real. I really want them to be like, oh yeah, you used to go to this uni. Quiet guy. Strange afro.
Oh, that afro is fire.
Thank you. I've been grinding it for years.
But did you, before we end the podcast,
yes,
is there anything you want to say, like at all?
Just push forward for the version of you that doesn't exist yet. That's all I can say. Because I don't understand your circumstances, and you might never understand my circumstances, and I will never understand your circumstances. You will never understand mine or Adam's, and we all have very different lives.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of people compare their situation. Do you know what I mean? So the worst you've ever felt and the worst I've ever felt will be for very different reasons, and how bad each reason is depends on who you ask. But the bottom line is we both felt equally as bad. And that is what we should focus on. It shouldn't be about, like, I shouldn't sit there and be like, oh, I feel so shit for feeling this way because you've been through so much more. And that shouldn't be a talking point. Talking point should be, I just need help. I need help, and I need it now. And just doing that is the first step in moving forward and getting to see the person that you will be eventually.
Very mature answer, 100%. That's very true, because, I mean, we will never know what each other's are going through. Exactly. And of course, especially people that are watching through a screen right now, they don't know me, I don't know you, and you probably are struggling and hurting right now. But regardless of that, you just got to keep trusting and fighting for it.
Your body, this is the thing, your body is an incredible piece of weapon.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? This is why, taking a little bit of a dark turn, this is why when some people try to end their own life, they really had to go to drastic measures to do it.
Yeah.
Like they had to climb to stupid heights, or they carry weighted bags, or like they really have to go for it, because your body will do everything and anything it can to survive. So why would you have an expiry date. That's it. Why don't you just push forward until that date? Why don't you just keep going as much as you possibly can?
Especially when there's others hurting like you. So why not help others, and they can even push through to that expiry date as well. And you might think, oh yeah, but we're gonna die anyway. But you're here. You don't know what's after.
You're here.
So,
you have a set of cards. You've been dealt them. You can work with them.
100%, man.
There's so much you could do, and people can learn from your experiences. You will meet an abundance of people.
And you heal the people after you. That's it. So, man, Mr. Andrew Rowland.
What can I say?
Man, this has been one of those experiences.
I know, it's been fun. It's been interesting.
Man.
I'm going to go home and have a fat nap.
You deserve it. You deserve it.
Fat nap.
Yo, man, is there, what do you call it? Is there any social media or anything you want to plug in, or?
I've just made a new Instagram. It's called a.roland_prod.
Prod.
Short for production.
Yeah.
Give that a follow. Whenever I start making stuff, that's where it will probably go.
Nice one, bro. I have to fix you. Come on, let's say. Ladies and motherfucking gentlemen, thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this episode, or listening, okay, if you're on Spotify, thank you for watching. A big mind trip. So, thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for watching, listening, and for just spending your quality time just engaging with this podcast. And of course, you want to check out Mr. Andrew Rowland. Yes. It is _. I can't remember. Just tag it. You just made it recently. It's hard to remember. Yeah. But yeah, if you want to check out Andrew Rowland, if you want to thank him, if you want to send him a message or anything.
I am always open. I am always. Just send me a message. If you're stressing, let me. I'd happily give you any advice possible.
I vouch for that, by the way.
I'd sit there for hours and chat shit. I could talk for me.
Oh, man. Thank you so much for just being on this show, man.
That's all good.
Man, so that's it, ladies and gentlemen. If you're down and ready for any more episodes, then be sure to let me know. If you're on YouTube, be sure to like, comment, subscribe. If you're on Spotify or Instagram, IGTV, just be sure to hit the DMs. Tell me what you think. And of course, your boy will be back for another motherfucking episode. I don't know why that was energy. Oh, man. Ladies and gentlemen, thanks so much for watching, and we'll see you guys until next one. Peace. We're just going to keep going. I was like, when's that applause going to stop? Fuck it. Peace out.
Peace.
Oh, man, my ears are sweating.
I'm sweating.